All right, welcome back, everybody. Got a pretty exciting product today. New unit for us, the RedSabre 1500. It's our new laser welding, cleaning, and cutting system. So it's all three. It'll do rust and paint removal. It'll cut up to 065 sheet, and then it'll also weld up to 1/8" material. So we're going to start a video series going through everything. Today we're going to focus on the cleaning side. So we'll go ahead and get the machine set up, show you how to set up the gun properly for the cleaning. And we'll go ahead and burn some rust, some mill scale off my table that made it through the fire, burn off some powder coat, and show you the power of this little unit. Okay, so right now we've got our remote control panel. It's all a digital touch screen, super handy. It's got like a 50-foot cord on it, so you can set it up, around your work table and not have to have the machine right at hand. So I've got this thing set up on this other camera. We'll get a close-up view on it, but right now we're set up for laser welding. So you can see on our close-up shot, we hit this little icon right here in the top right. You're about to enter laser cleaning system. Please confirm whether you want to continue. We hit continue. So now we have to power off the unit and restart it. So let me do that real quick. Turn our key off, let it wind down for a second. It'll kill the power. Turn it back on. As the system reloads, it'll come up now, laser cleaning system. So now we are set up to clean. You can see we have our scanning frequency set to 50 hertz. Our scan width is 30 millimeters. Peak power is only 50 watts. We're at 100% duty cycle with a 5,000 hertz frequency. So we can go into our technology. This has some pre-programmed cleaning setups in it. Go return. We can go to our settings page. Now this is pin locked, and our passcode is the base passcode right now. It's 123456. So this gives us a little bit more control over everything. Laser power off, our laser on progressive time. So that's the ramp up time of the laser power from when we pull the trigger. We can also do a trigger setting, the click on, or we can do a double click. So now I can pull the trigger. I got to double click it to get it to come on. So if I just pull, nothing, double click to come on. Or we can go to click on. So now as soon as I pull the trigger, I've got power. So a little bit of a safety feature there so you don't accidentally fire the laser without meaning to. You've got to double click it. I prefer to leave it on the single click for now. But yeah, there's our basic setup. So we'll go ahead and get out of this. We also have a monitor screen, which will tell us, okay, we've got good gas pressure. It tells us all of our temperatures, so we can watch the temperature of our lenses, which I'll show you here in a second. It also has a diagnosis mode. So if there is an issue somewhere on one of these, it'll show red. You can diagnose it, and it'll come up with a help screen to tell you what's going on and how to solve it. You also have your pressures for your air supply. So if you have a low pressure or a high pressure, it'll tell you, so you can adjust that as well. So now we're back to our main screen. You can also turn the indication light off. So I've got it, indication lights on. I can also have a dot instead of the line. So there we go. And we can also lock the laser off to where now it won't function until we turn it back on. So if you are going to be away from the system but want to leave it running, you can lock the trigger out to where you have to come back into this screen, turn your laser on. So there we go. Turn that back to line. So now we are all good to go. We can go ahead and get our PPE on, and we can start cleaning some rust and paint off stuff. All right, so now we've got our gloves on, got a long sleeve shirt, trying to protect myself as much as possible from any reflection. Got my super cool shades on. So these glasses, these aren't just the tinted safety glasses. These are specially rated for the wavelength of the laser. A typical pair of sunglasses, polarized sunglasses, tinted safety glasses are not going to protect you from burning your eyeballs out with this thing. One of the things with this too is if you're on a reflective surface, you can actually feel the heat of the laser coming back at you. And what that is the light from the laser that you can't see reflecting back and heating you up. Now, fortunately, it's, you know, dissipated, it's bouncing all over the place, so it's not concentrated like it is on the metal, but you can feel it. And so I definitely recommend cleaning, cutting, anything. Wear gloves, wear long sleeve shirt, try to protect yourself from this beam as much as possible. One of the things with these lasers is they actually, even though the focal length is about 8 or 9 inches, you can actually set something on fire about 10, 15 feet away pretty easily, you know, within a matter of seconds. And we can get a piece of paper, I can kind of show you that. We'll set it out on the table and I'll shoot it from a distance and you can see how fast something lights up. Again, not as something you should be doing, but more as a cautionary, this is what you need to watch out for. With these lasers, while they are a tool, it's very important to treat this thing like it is a weapon, because it literally is a laser gun and it can hurt you and other people around you. So in this shop environment, it's basically just me and the camera guy. We know where the laser is pointing. We know we're going to be focused right here. We're not moving around trying to move parts to where I could accidentally fire the laser at him. He's got on a pair of glasses too that are rated for this laser. And I'm not worried about people coming in behind me or from the side or walking in the door. We've got our door locked with a sign on the front of it saying that there's laser welding in process, do not enter. So we're taking the precautions to keep other people that aren't aware of the laser away from it. In a shop environment, you would want to have a fully contained cell to where none of the laser light can get outside of that cell and injure somebody else. So if you are looking to purchase a laser, there's a lot of reading up you need to do about the safety with these things. But enough of the boring talk. Let's get to burning some rust, mill scale, and paint off some stuff. Show you guys what this little thing can do. So we do have our cleaning lens on. It's just a cup to kind of protect the threads of the gun from getting burned up. And like I said, you can kind of see your focal length, and I'll play with this and show you guys how to look for that focal length. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so now we've got some plate I've been having sit outside for the last couple months. It's got some real heavy rust on it. This did have mill scale on it as well. Again, we're only at 50 watts power, and watch how fast this removes this rust. Kind of ease up on it. So I know my focal length is about right. If I get too close, hear a pretty distinct difference in how that laser sounds. And you can actually feel it etch the metal. So you do have to be careful. You want to start farther away and come in slowly. So I'm not really doing anything here. But now I know I'm not etching the metal, but it's removing the rust. So that's a pretty good focal length for this cleaning process. So there we go. This was kind of a before and after right there with a matter of seconds. You know, we got our before and after. We can really see that, you know, it's actually shiny now. You know, we've got some pretty good reflection off that. Where we did get a little bit tight on that that focal length, it did kind of etch the metal. So you do have to be mindful of that. But what this does is it burns the rust off. So you're left with your bare material. It doesn't smooth it out and polish it. So if you had a piece like this table, for instance, I can burn all the rust and mill scale off and everything that's baked into it, and then go back with a burnisher and it'll just flake the stuff right off, and then it will become a polished, you know, clean surface. So let's go ahead and burn some more rust real quick. We'll move a little bit faster and show you guys how fast this thing runs when you're actually trying to do some work with it instead of show what it can do. All right, so on the laser system for cleaning and cutting, you only need to use compressed air. You don't have to use argon or nitrogen. So we're using 60 PSI through a small job site pancake compressor through a 3/8 air line. And that'll do us. We're only using it for cooling for the protective lens and the focal lens. We're not actually using it for the process itself. It's only for cooling. So we got all of our rust off. Things just barely warm to the touch. But again, kind of our before and after. You know, what was that? Maybe 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds tops. And now we've got a clean piece. I've actually done some testing on cleaning a piece like this and then taking a MIG or TIG and going right back and welding over it. TIG, it's still got some fuzzies on it, so you need to wipe it off a little bit or just buff it with a wire wheel real fast. But MIG, you can go ahead and straight MIG weld with this. You get no porosity, nothing popping up in your bead, so it's a nice, clean, weldable surface for MIG and stick at least. So that was rust. Let's set these off to the side. Now we've got some real thick, heavy-duty industrial powder coat. This is going to throw off a lot of flame, a lot of smoke. So when you are doing the cleaning system, I would recommend having good ventilation, having your doors open, having a fan blowing this away from you. Obviously, fume extraction would be the #1 option. But let's go ahead and burn some of this powder coat off real quick. We'll just do a real quick run, show you how fast it works. So there we go. I mean, a matter of seconds, literally seconds, and our powder coat is gone. We're down to bare steel. It actually does have a little bit of a shine to it. Even like stickers, they don't stand a chance with this thing. It will kind of melt the sticker. Make some nice fireworks. But again, down to nice bare metal, pretty much ready to go. And you did see while we were doing that, it's kicking off a lot of fumes. It is burning this material off. So you're actually setting this powder coat on fire, or paint, you're setting it on fire and burning it off. So there is quite a bit of fumes. There's some little floaties in the air. So if you are going to be doing this for a long time, you know, cleaning up a project, you've got some powder coated parts you're cleaning up, I would recommend wearing a respirator, even a PAPR, or having a really good fume extraction system. For what we're doing today, it'll be fine. I'm not sucking it in. I'm holding my breath, but yeah, super powerful on the rust, the powder coat. Let's move to some mill scale on my table. So this table was in my shop fire a few months ago, and it had a bunch of stuff sitting on it. The mill scale that was on the table has kind of become hardened with the heat. It's actually warped the table just a little bit, and I've got to go back and fix that still. But the main issue is it sat outside for about 4 or 5 months. I've got a real heavy rust layer on here from that mill scale. And when you try to grind it, it gums up your flap disc, and it makes it super hard to clean this thing up. So I've been waiting for this laser to go ahead and clean this table. Let me get set back up, and we'll make a couple passes on this table and show you how fast it cleans it up. All right, so now that we've ran through some real simple, you know, burning rust off, burning some powder coat off, let's show you how it's going to clean off the mill scale and rust off this table real quick. So again, focal length is important, so you want to start kind of far away and work up to it. So you can see as I move back and forth, it definitely reacts more to the rusted areas than it does the areas that are clean. You can see we can move through that pretty quick, so you can do a large area. I was even moving a little bit slow, just trying to get some good shots with the cameras, but you can see, I mean, it's back down to bare metal. It does have because it burned that rust off, it is just a little bit of a rough finish, but I found if you go back through with even like Scotch-Brite and just hit this real quick, you get down to a real nice shiny surface, and you've got a perfect work surface. So I'll buff this down here in a second, and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, so yeah, just got done buffing this down with some Scotch-Brite real quick. Nice clean surface. It got rid of all the rust, all the mill scale, all the stuff that had kind of melted and sat on the table and hardened up. I had tried cleaning this up with a flap disc, and I mean, after like 2 or 3 inches, it gets gummed up and doesn't, it stops cutting. So that's why I haven't cleaned this table up much. I've been kind of saving it till we got this laser and I could burn everything off, then go back through with like a burnisher and get this thing super nice. And I think if I did have a burnishing wheel, I could have this thing polished in a matter of minutes, getting the whole table done. But super powerful tool with the cleaning side. That's probably what I'm the most excited about with this laser system is the rust and paint removal, especially with all my stuff that was in the fire. I've got a ton of work to do cleaning up my bandsaw and my new box and pan brake that got burned up. So I'll have some videos coming up with that, on the live stream and such. We've done a couple videos with the live stream with the laser. They've gone super well. Really cool tool though, guys. I think you're going to see these things really start to take over in the industry sooner rather than later. So if you're looking at a laser, you've been interested in them, hit us up, hit me up. I've got a ton of information I can give you guys on these things, and we're going to have a lot more videos coming out with these soon. Weld mean, weld green.